What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video with me, Matt. I thought about giving you a fake name, but y'all know who I am. What's up, guys? Today I want to talk to you and tell you some stories about eating out with diabetes. Now, today was a big day. Today was a massive day. Reason being, today my wife, Lisa, got pinned for her master's program for occupational therapy. It was a pinning ceremony that we went to, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. The location was stunning. It was this beautiful, so it was inside, but just outside was a lawn that was very carefully manicured on a lake. So it was surrounding this lake. This lake was gorgeous. There was a little island you could swim out to if you had a bathing suit. I did not, unfortunately. It was surrounded by lake houses, and including one that was a hotel on the lake. And it was a beautiful day. It was probably about 75 degrees Fahrenheit and clear blue skies. In the distance, you can see mountains covered in wildflowers from the recent rains. And it was just beautiful. There was boats going around the lake, and the ceremony was amazing as well. It was inside, so it was air conditioned, which was cool. But we stepped outside for the reception and had a beautiful time taking pictures. And for those of you who are unaware what pinning is, as Lisa would say, essentially it's a marker from them finishing their didactic period in school. So they're done with their classes now, and they move from classes to clinical. So now they go and work in a hospital, and unfortunately it's working for free because they have to learn and continue learning. But it's a very exciting time. It means a lot, and in the medical field, it's a big deal to have your pinning ceremony. So that was today, which meant we were on the road a lot. And on the way up, I actually packed a lunch. I prefer to pack my own food because I know the macronutrients of what I'm eating, which are the carbohydrates, the proteins, the fats, all that kind of stuff. I know that my food is typically more nutritious than the foods I'm going to buy somewhere else because they pack in a bunch of extra stuff to make it taste good, but that makes it a little bit less healthy. And I mean, that's obviously why I'm also dressed up. I was trying to look good for Lisa's pinning ceremony. She looked way better than I did today. But like I said, on the road, I packed my lunch. I actually packed my dinner as well. However, we got a last-minute invite to have dinner with Lisa's parents, and that was a wonderful time. We also happened to run into her aunt and uncle there, so we ended up having dinner with her mom, her dad, her aunt, and her uncle. We had a great time, and I was able to adapt and eat food with them. And I was more happy to have food with them at a healthy restaurant. They always love eating healthy, so we went to a place called True Foods, and they have an excellent variety of foods that are available in vegan, vegetarian. They've got meat, and all their foods are relatively healthy. So eating out with diabetes is what I want to talk about in this live video. And essentially, the most important thing to do is to know what's in your food, right? Especially if you are injecting insulin for your food. You should know at the very least how many carbohydrates you're going to consume. And this is very tricky when you don't have the nutritional menus in front of you. Now, thankfully, most chain restaurants, if you go around and you're asking, can I see the nutritional facts? Can I see the nutrition menu? And you ask for the carb count, most of them have that available. If not in person, then on the internet. So I'm Googling stuff before I go to place my order. I figure out how many carbs are in it, and then I go a step further. I prefer to know how many fats, how many proteins, and I make my decisions based on that. What looks good that would fit into my macronutrient profile the best. However, the item that I wanted was not available. They discontinued it like a week ago. So I was like, all right, I'll make a last-minute decision. I asked, do you have the nutritional facts? May I see that? I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I need to know how many carbohydrates are in this. And she said, absolutely. And she was amazing. She took it upon herself to go find the actual printed out booklet of how many carbs, how many fats, how many proteins were in each item. She found the specific item that was close enough to the dish that I wanted that they had discontinued, and she showed me, hey, look, right here, this is I wanted to get cashew pad thai. So good. But instead, she said we had this Korean noodle dish. It's very similar, and it was actually very similar. However, I decided to try something called Ancient Grains, which was delicious. Oh my goodness, some sweet potatoes and quinoa and avocado and some shiitake mushrooms and all sorts of good stuff. And it was just incredible. On top of that, I had a kale egg, which was like a kale drink. that also has some apple in it, so it's kind of sweet. Anyways, what I want you guys to know is that you can ask for nutritional information, but there are some circumstances that you're going to run into when you will find out they do not have nutritional information, and they might not even know what you're talking about. Say, hey, can I get the nutritional menu? And they go, what are you talking about? This is the menu. Here. And they put it in front of you, like, no, not the food menu. I want to know what's in the food. How many carbohydrates are in this? How many fats, proteins, how many calories, all that sort of stuff. And they're like, I have no idea. I honestly could not tell you if you paid me to do that. And you're like, well, great. What am I supposed to do? I need to know how many carbs are in this to inject. I guess I'll guess. And that's kind of what it boils down to. That is your next best option. And in that situation, that's where you hope that you've done your homework beforehand. And so if you know you're going to eat rice, let's say, rice is a pretty common food at most restaurants. You look at rice, you think, okay, I need to know how many carbs are in a cup of rice, because a cup is a pretty easy way to measure something. You think, all right, if I know how many carbs are in a cup of rice, and I know what a cup of rice looks like on my plate at home, you've probably done this before at home, hopefully, then you can say, okay, that looks like it's just over a cup of rice. I'm going to guess, since a cup of rice is usually around 45 grams of carbs, that's probably 50 to 55, and you can eyeball it. You get an idea for how many carbs are on your plate. So, okay, I got 50 of rice, and then maybe I ordered an apple because, I don't know, maybe places serve apples. That apple, that's like a medium-sized apple. It's probably about 20 carbs. So I'm looking at about 70 carbs now. Rice and an apple. And, I got chicken with my rice. Chicken and rice looks good. Apple, little piece of fruit. Apple a day keeps the doctor away. Chicken doesn't have any carbs. That's cool. Unless, and here's an important thing, when you go out to eat, like I said, they add stuff to make it more tasty. Certain places, like tonight, will put stuff on their chicken to make it taste delicious. And it tastes good. It tastes really good. But sometimes the paste that they cook the chicken in has sugar in it. Like if you get barbecue, for example, barbecue for sure has sugar in it. They put a lot of sugar in their barbecue sauce, which is why it tastes amazing. But that being said, I always ask for my chicken plain. I ask, hey, can you grill this? Nothing on it. I don't want extra oils. I don't want extra flavors. Just plain chicken. And it still tastes really good because they're good cooks. They know what they're doing. But I had a bite of the other chicken. I wanted to taste it, but it was very clear there was a sauce on it, and I knew that sauce had sugar in it. I took a bite, super delicious. Now, had I had a full plate of that, that would be a very difficult item to guess how many carbs were in that. So know what you're eating. Know at least the general measure of what you're eating for the carbohydrates. You can look at a piece of pizza and say, okay, I've seen that size pizza slice before. That looks like, I don't know, 35 grams of carbs. Okay. And then you can kind of pick apart your plate, figure out what is in each section, and then you add it all together. I highly suggest using your cell phone's calculator because that way there's no room for mistake. And what I like to do, I was going to show you, but I think I've actually cleared my calculator from the last meal. What I like to do is I keep that calculator and the equation, 27 plus 5 plus 10 plus 19, I keep that open. Reason being, I can then go through my phone afterwards. If it was a big meal and there's lots of different types of foods, and go, okay, 27, that was my oatmeal. 5, that was a date. I don't know. And I go through my equation and make sure I ate everything. Because this doesn't happen very often, but it has happened to me where I get through my meal and an hour later, I'll remember that I forgot to eat something. Go, oh no, I injected insulin for that. And I'll quick run and go find that food that I was supposed to eat. And then I'll quick munch it down. And usually that ends in a low blood sugar because you're eating your food an hour after you injected for it. But the calculator allows me, at least, it's my strategy, to see and check off the items that I've eaten. Now, another note that I want to mention for eating out or dining out or ordering food, drinks, whatever it is, on the go. Before we got to the restaurant, I was driving down. It was a bit of a drive, about 45 minutes, and I was getting real tired. Long day, spent a good chunk of the day in the sun, had a great workout this morning, and I was toast. I was starting to get real tired, trying to keep my eyes open as I was driving home. I was like, hon, I gotta go get some coffee. So we stopped at a Starbucks, ordered my normal drink, which is black iced coffee, tall, easy. I can add my own stuff in. I put just a couple drops of the half and half so it doesn't stain my teeth black. and that's it. I don't want any sugar. I don't want anything. That's just my own preference because I don't want to have to take insulin for my coffee. Now, here's the problem. Starbucks, when you order a black iced coffee, comes with sugar in it. Even though you say, I want black iced coffee, you think black coffee, that's just nothing. That's black coffee. No, they like to make you think that black coffee is delicious at Starbucks and Starbucks only. And so they add, I think it's 20 grams of sugar into the black coffee. It's through simple syrup. They put syrup in your black coffee. Can you believe that? Whoa, I found that one out the hard way years ago. And to this day, I always say no sugar, which sounds ridiculous when I order it. Hey, I'd like a black coffee, no sugar. You see what I'm saying? But I have to clarify, because every time that I see someone making my coffee at the register, it will say tall black iced coffee, and then I'll see no classic. No classic means they're not adding the simple sugar. The simple syrup. And if I don't see that, I ask. That's with no sugar, right? Excuse me, no sugar, right? Today, if I had not said that, I would have had a massive high blood sugar spike, because I said I would like a black iced coffee, no sugar, and a tall, please. Tall black iced coffee, no sugar. He's like, all right, awesome, we'll get started. He charged me, and as I was walking away, I was like, I didn't see no classic on the register. Excuse me, that was no sugar, right? And he goes, I knew it. And he calls back, hey, that's without sugar. Don't put sugar in that one. And I knew it. I just kind of smiled and said, thank you. I appreciate that. And if I had not spoken up, my drink would have had a ton of sugar in it. So when you are ordering out, make sure you are clear in your order. Make sure you double check. This happens a lot with diet sodas that I've heard. I don't drink diet soda anymore. I used to a lot. It is not good for you. Soda is even worse for you. Just don't do any of that. If you can avoid it, drink water. Drink alkalized water. It's the best thing in the world for you. But if you are going to order a diet soda, double check, triple check. That normal soda, if they make a mistake in your order, will destroy your blood sugars. Soda will cause a skyrocketing blood sugar. You will see, if you're wearing a CGM, you'll see double arrows up, which means it's going up really, really fast. You do not want to be in that situation, especially if you're not ready for it, because that's going to wreck your day. You're going to spend the rest of that afternoon chasing that high blood sugar when all you had to do is say, excuse me, that was diet, correct? And I'll even say diabetes sometimes. I don't care. I used to care. Took me a couple of years to get over that, but now I'm over that insecurity. I own up to my diabetes and say, excuse me, I would like to see nutritional information, please. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I need to know how many carbs are in this, or if I'm getting coffee. That's no sugar, right? I'm a type 1 diabetic. I just need to make sure there's no sugar in there. And they understand. They say, oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, of course. And they completely get it, right? They're not going to spit in your drink because you're a type 1 diabetic asking for no sugar. Now, if you go and complain and be like, excuse me, I do not appreciate you putting sugar in my drink. I don't know what that sounds like, but if you're going to attack them and say, don't put sugar in my drink, then they might not treat you with as much respect. But if you come at them in a kind, human-to-human conversational piece where you're like, hey, excuse me, this doesn't have sugar, correct? I just wanted to make sure because I'm a type 1 diabetic and I prefer not to have sugar in this. They totally get it. But the moral of this story is two things. One, double check your orders. Clarify with your waitress or waiter. Clarify with the bartender, whatever it is. Make sure that if you did not want sugar in that it does not have sugar. And if you don't want to ask and you taste it, oh, wow, that's really sweet. That has a lot of sugar in it. Don't feel bad for bringing it back because you asked to not have sugar in it, right? You asked for diet or sugar-free or whatever it is. Do not feel bad taking care of your own health. Your health is what matters first, not the feelings of somebody who messed up your drink order. Now, the second lesson I want you guys to take to heart on this one is if you are going to a place that does not have carb counts, they do not have nutritional information, or more realistically, if you're traveling out of the country or to a new place that you're not used to, you're going to come across foods that do not have measurements, that are more difficult to guess. In that situation, try to have at least a little bit of a stockpile of information in your head of how many carbs are in certain types of food. A cup of rice, 45 grams of carbs. A medium apple, 20 grams of carbs. A slice of bread, 15 to 25, usually 15 to 20 grams of carbs. You see, there's this arsenal of knowledge you can keep going with you as you go out to eat, so that when you look at your plate, you can kind of eyeball it and think, okay, 20 plus 30 plus 15, got it, 65 carbs, right? Yeah, it's 65. Okay, so those are the two things. Double check your orders, make sure they are indeed sugar-free, and try and memorize a couple carb counts of common foods, so when you go out to eat, you're able to guesstimate how many carbs are on your plate, and you don't have to worry about completely messing up and missing it. You can at least be in the ballpark of that correct carb count. Now, this is an exciting day for me because in less than 24 hours, I will be doing my first webinar for you guys, and I'm doing it live, which means if you want to hop on that, there's one place and one place only to watch that webinar, and that is on YouTube. So on our YouTube channel, which is FTF Warrior, you will find my webinar tomorrow, Saturday, let me think, April 20th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to write it in here, youtube.com/c/FTF Warrior. Boom. That link will take you guys to the YouTube page. You have to be a subscriber of that page to be notified when I go live, which will be tomorrow at 5. Why do I rhyme? That's so funny. Going live at 5, and you have to be a subscriber. So if you are not a subscriber yet of that YouTube channel, make sure you are. That is also where all the replays of these lives are going, okay? So tomorrow at 5, I'm going live chatting about stabilizing blood sugars with exercise. A lot of us are scared to exercise because we go low. Some of us are nervous to exercise because we go high. I'm going to teach you guys how to stabilize that line. That way you don't have to worry about it as much. You can enjoy your workout, and you don't have to worry about exercising a little bit and then having to consume a bunch of sugar to fix the low blood sugars. And we just want to end that frustration. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do that tomorrow. With that being said, also, I'm going to add this in the comments as well. There are still a few spots left in the Thrive with Diabetes pilot group, which is going live on Monday. It means we're 2 days out, just over 2 days out from our pilot group going through Thrive with Diabetes, which is going to be incredible. We're talking about everything diabetes, lowering your A1C, losing fat, building muscle, how to stabilize blood sugars with exercise, how to consume foods and not worry about blood sugar spikes and drops, how to stay stable, all sorts of stuff. And since this is the pilot group, which means you guys are going to be giving me feedback to perfect the program for the next group, I will also be giving you tons of personal attention, which means you will get results. And so this is the only time that this program will be this cheap, because this is the first time people are going through it. So if you want to apply, hit that link in the comments. I would love to go over your application personally, and I will. And I will be selecting the few lucky winners in the next day, I think it is. And then we're closing applications on Sunday. So make sure you guys get those in and grab that super cheap price. You get an automatically upgraded, as well as six or seven bonuses that are included in that Thrive program. So I'm really excited to give that to everybody, get everybody started on that, and hope to see you guys on the webinar tomorrow. Make sure you're around. Make sure you subscribe to FTF Warrior, and I will see you guys there. Have an awesome night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on that webinar, and keep up the fight.